Hey guys, it's Tessa from HandleTheHeat.com. Today we're making Copycat Chipotle style steak burritos. This recipe is bound to become your family's new favorite dinner. It's super easy and delicious, and I think you're gonna love it. If you'd like to learn how to make these burritos, then keep watching. Let's start by making the spice rub for the steak. 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of ancho chili powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And you can do more or less than that depending on how spicy you'd like the steak to be. I'm also adding kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. And this spice rub is going to give my steak a nice smoky, savory flavor, and it's going to really make these burritos stand out. I'm going to rub my skirt steak all over with vegetable oil. And this piece of skirt steak that I bought from the store, one side was really thick and the other side was really thin, so I actually cut it in half so that I could cook the thin side quicker and let the thicker side cook longer, since it'll obviously take longer to cook. So I'm just rubbing my spice mixture into the steak on both sides. And you can actually let this sit for 20 minutes or up to 8 hours to really let the flavor of the spices penetrate the meat. After I've sprinkled the spice mixture on both sides of my skirt steak, I'm going to pop it in the fridge to let the flavors marinate. And now I'm moving on to my Pico de Gallo. I have some Roma tomatoes here, which I'm just dicing up, and you can make the dice as big or as small as you prefer. Hopefully your knife is way sharper than mine was when I was making this video. It was pretty dull, and there's nothing more dangerous in the kitchen than a dull knife, especially when you're cutting something like tomatoes. I actually wrote a whole post, I'll link to it at the bottom bar description, all about how to sharpen your knife, and it looks like I need to be following my own advice. Next, I'm chopping up a jalapeno. I'm actually going to mince it because I like my jalapeno to be very small chunks in my Pico de Gallo. If you like bigger chunks or if you like a lot of jalapeno, go for it. If you want to include some seeds because you like spice, go ahead. I don't like the spice that much, so I'm not really going to include the seeds. I'm going to mince it up real small, and then that's going to be added to my Pico de Gallo. And feel free to wear gloves while you're chopping this jalapeno, because if you happen to touch your eyes right after chopping up the jalapeno, it can really burn, and that's no fun. So either wear gloves or be sure to wash your hands right after chopping up any type of pepper. Next, I'm chopping up some fresh cilantro. If you're one of those people that hates the taste of cilantro, go ahead and use parsley instead. Lastly, I'm chopping up a 1/2 cup of red onion. And that is my Pico de Gallo mixture. So I'm just going to give that a stir, and then that's going to go in the fridge. I'm going to cover it and pop it in the fridge until I'm ready to assemble my burritos. Now moving on to my rice. This rice also has Chipotle inspired flavors, so I'm adding fresh cilantro, fresh lime juice, a little bit of vegetable oil, and some salt. And I actually used short grain brown rice to increase the healthfulness of this dish and to make you feel more full and to give you some more fiber after eating it. Now that my steak has been sitting in the fridge with the spice mixture, I'm going to take it out to the grill and cook it. If you don't have access to a grill, you can of course use an indoor grill pan or an indoor grill. I'm going to cook the steak until it's about medium rare, which is an internal temperature of 135 degrees. You can cook the steak any way you like, whatever your preference is. Next, I'm going to slice the steak across the grain. As you can see here, I'm just slicing it into kind of large slivers. And now I'm going to dice it. And again, you can make the chunks of steak as big or as small as you prefer. Now that everything's ready, I'm going to get started assembling my burritos. I've also warmed up a can of black beans, and I also have some sour cream here for my burrito assembly. So I have one flour tortilla, which I've topped with the rice mixture with the beans, and now it's going to be topped with some steak. I'm also topping it with my Pico de Gallo, and lastly, I'm going to dollop some sour cream over it. Now comes the most challenging part of making these burritos, and that's actually folding them up. At least I think this is the most challenging part. I'm going to make sure my filling is compact in there, and I'm going to leave myself a little border so I can roll the burrito up and fold the sides of the tortilla over as you see here. I'm going to roll it up and place it seam side down, and I'm going to cut into it so you can see what the filling looks like. Doesn't it look delicious? Alright guys, and that's how you make Copycat Chipotle style steak burritos. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next Wednesday for another food video.